Good morning, YouTube. It's 10 to 11 UK time in the morning, and I'm just carrying on with a bit of tidying. Last night, spent about an hour, actually close to 2 hours. Cleared some space over here. It's not much space, but it is some space. I'm quite happy with that. Looks even better if I move a couple more things around. Just going to try and sort a few other things out, like cutting down and mounting this over by the window. Just see if I turn that off. Okay, just close that down. Right. Just trying to work out how best to fit what's going to fit and what's not going to fit. Good morning, whoever's watching. Just trying to do a bit more tidying in here. Why am I using that? It's a long screw. Got to get a few more tools up. On the wall. That's not smelling good. Trying to think about how to make things actually fit. No, that's no good. It might be it's too thin. Right. No progress there. Change the focus. Right, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see what we can't put in one of those. What do I want to do? Put these ice cream tubs with a variety of screws in. And So I've got one self-tapping screws. I've got brass self-tappers and dome head screws. Now, I do like these margarine tubs, they're quite useful. But I do wonder, given the amount I use them, if I might not be better off putting them into a whammo box. It's all about decisions. Now the question is, if I put them up there, what goes over there? And with things like brass screws, be better off Morning, Kurt. How are you this morning? Yeah, it's actually sunny here. It's a good day for being in the garden. But that's where my wife is. She's doing some gardening. So I'm just enjoying some time in here. I made some good progress last night. Cleared fairly decent amount of stuff off there. And now I'm just wondering about other things. Now I've got these storage boxes. I've got 3 more of these, but I haven't got anything in them. I'm just wondering about putting some of the some of the ironmongery I keep up there. I kind of tended to keep that side as ironmongery. But I've also got things like, I've got this quite awkward biscuit tin with my jigsaw blades. Oh, and that might fit in there. That smells good. It smells almost like chocolate. Pretty sure there's been no chocolate in there. But I know if I put my jigsaw blades in there, and they're all going to fit in there, and that's good. That empties that tin. I'm probably not going to want to put anything in the top, even though there'll be space. But I might anyway. I like the idea of emptying this tin. So when you find blades that you've obviously overheated, and you're wondering, when did I do that? That goes in there. It goes in there nicely. Right, so I can have jigsaw blades in there. Let's empty this tin. So they go in there for the moment. What will go nicely with jigsaw blades? Jigsaw accessories. I'll have a look before I forget. Yeah, all the power tool boxes. I've generally kept the kind of rigid ones, but they're up in my loft. The only one I've got still in here, well, I've got 3 power tool boxes. Only one of which has got the actual power tool in. That was my 1/2-inch router, and the other 2, one's got spanners, had for a very, very long time. There's spanners in there that were ancient when I was a kid, and some interesting imperial size ones, and kind of interesting spanners, box spanners and things like that, things that don't get used very often, but when you need them, you really do need them. Otherwise, they're all up in the loft. A couple is because they were tools my father-in-law gave me kind of on permanent loan, and the rest just because I'm terrible at getting rid of things. Really, would I use them if we were moving house? Would I use them? Probably. I don't know. I mean, I've still got, I've got this old Makita. I've had this, I don't know how many years now. Well, we've been here 10 years, and I bought it in the last house. So it's probably 15, 16 years old. I've still got the thing for that. I bought this about 8 years ago. Still got the thing for that. Still going okay. It's kind of a bit of an electrical spell. I think the brushes are going because it's not brushless. But yeah, get on top of it, Kurt. Don't let it get to the point where I did, where you can't actually get in. You'll kind of put it off if you're anything like me, and then you get to a point where you can't do anything and you have to literally just stop. And it makes projects really hard. Going down. Yeah, it's easy for a shop to get out of hand. Look like the bomb's gone off. Yeah, that's kind of what I've got, Kurt. Let me pull the camera out a second. I'll switch it off in the process. So that's just a piece of drain pipe. Drilled 2 holes through, larger holes on the bottom, and then a couple of smaller ones on top. And then I've got similar over here. I've put my old Black & Decker Wizard in there, but this one here has a slot cut out. I can't put it in with the extension on. This one would fit in there with a slot cut out for the trigger. But at the moment I can't fit it in there because I've moved my screwdrivers to there temporarily. So I will reinstate that at some point. It does make life a lot easier just to be able to grab a drill. Well, I'm not going to be able to do that one-handed. I've seen it done with people who've cut slots. So they've made it kind of out of timber, essentially. So you kind of just have slots in the timber. So it's one piece, probably about 20 centimeters deep, and you just cut slots so that the handle will go into it. That works nicely as well, particularly if you've had then a little shelf above for maybe charging station batteries. That can work really, really nicely. I thought to say morning, Jim. But yeah, PVC piping is something I use quite a lot of, although I've taken some of it down. I know it's still there. You might just be able to see just behind here. If I move that light, maybe even better, or you can put the light on, even better. So I've got a series of cuts at 45 degrees, and then just a single screw through the base. You can glue them in place as well if you like. I tend not to glue too many things on shop projects, just because of that incessant need to change. So yeah, plastic pipe, it's pretty cheap here. I don't know what it's like. Malta, you're in, aren't you, Kurt? So I don't know what prices are like there for pipe and plastic. But yeah, it's a pretty cheap resource here. So it's easy to work. You know, you can use it on bandsaw, you can cut it by hand, it's easy to drill. You be careful, some of the pipes, the sort of black one I've got here tends to shatter if you're not careful with drilling. Whereas the white PVC tends to melt a little bit, and that's obviously a bit easier to work with. I'm not sure what to put with my just trying to decide if there's anything that will fit nicely to go into the same box as my jigsaw blades and bits, because I've got a whole tray of a little sorting tray that's not. I was going to do a video this morning. My key fob for my car. Yeah, the vault boxes I've got, you can take the insides out, and that's a lot easier. For the one with the half-inch router came with an insert, and I took that. I should have taken a photograph of how it was in there, because I never ever managed to get back in. So I took the insert out, and I still struggled to squeeze the whole thing in with all the bits and bobs. But yeah, I was going to record a video this morning, changing the battery in my car remote key fob, and want to give. I thought, well, I'll get a video of it giving the low battery warning on the dashboard. Went out to the car, switched it on, no warning. Hi, James. Good, you got the notification. I don't know what was causing that. Yeah, I don't know sometimes with the algorithm. There's times when I find out from maybe Facebook or somewhere else that somebody's put a video up, which I really want to watch, go and watch it, thinking, but I'm sure I didn't see that, because I only ever really look at my subscription feed and never look at the kind of recommended feed. And so I tend to kind of scroll back to the previous one, and sometimes I go back and I find, oh, no, there it is. Whether it's just that I don't see it, or whether it's that they don't always show everything that's in your subscription feed, which would be very annoying if that was the case. So yeah, I'm just trying to work out. I was talking about this last night. I've got my cables here, and I want to mount them over there, but I need to think carefully about how I do it. I've got spacing issues and wood issues. So I did bring another piece of timber from the shed, the storage shed this morning. But I'm going to have to give that some more thought. So I'm just resorting back to continuous motion, keep the momentum going. Okay, I might try that. There's a few. I've got about a dozen or so channels that I always want to watch everything that come up. Mostly it's okay. You know, Laura Kampf this morning, came up quite easily, clearly. Yeah, I don't know. I think they play games. Or not games. I think they kind of try experiments. Let's turn this off. Let's turn that off. Let's see what will or won't work. But yeah, that's YouTube, I suppose. So yeah, I'm just trying to make better use of the storage I've got here. I also want to think about taking some of the junk out of there. I've got a box of bits on the floor which I want to get stored as well. No, I might be able to empty that one because I had some space in one of those other ones. That's something else I've got to sort out. I've got kind of little lots of things sitting on top of boxes. And my only concern is that if I start putting too many heavy things up there, I'm going to... No, not enough space in that one. Overstretch the shelf, which is fairly solid. But ironmongery can soon get really heavy. So do I move more? I do need to rationalise. I've got a whole tub full of just these kind of Scotch blocks, I call them. They're automotive connectors. Oh, I'm not that orderly, Gib, and I have to be, and I need to be more. That's one of the reasons why I'm kind of doing this whole reorganization, because I just keep getting to the point where I just can't do anything at all, and that's just nuts when that happens. More Scotch blocks, more connectors. Yeah, I've started putting some boxes you can just see up here are now containing mostly ironmongery, jigsaw blades in one. Drill bits might go into another. I have a box over there just with drill bits in. So I'm kind of thinking I might try and get ironmongery back over there, and then have kind of more things like consumables for tools, accessories for tools up here, and that then keeps my tools, because I've got my power tools all on the shelf. Just loosen that a little bit. There we go. Power tools are all on the shelf over here, but then it's a mixture of what you can fit in. I think I might try and go for those drill bits. I really need to get rid of some of this junk, really. I was talking about last night. It's ultimately I'm a hoarder. Good morning, Anna. I hope the weather in Germany is good for you today. I hate it when a lot of these cheap tin boxes just don't want to close properly. That sounds like a voice of experience, Gib. I'm certainly working on it. Now I've just got drill bits after drill. I don't even know where some of these drill bits come from. These might have been some of my dad's. I mean, this is I can't really get some writing on this tin. This is a tobacco tin, Golden Virginia. It's only marked in ounces. So I can imagine that's probably many, many years old. I've kind of got this reluctance with, like with the jigsaw box. These storage boxes have got this little insert tray in the top, and they're probably not big enough for putting very many things in. Let's get one down. So my issue I have with putting some like drills in, drill bits. Actually, no, that's not too bad. Again, it's like a chocolatey smell. There are still, yeah, I am over a certain age, James. There are, if you go on eBay, if you're after tobacco tins, a lot of people sell them on eBay. Certainly this kind of sort of shape. So you can get them plain. You can get some of the old ones. I mean, they're good for storage. I mean, they're hard wearing. They last for years. They don't tend to rust too much. You sometimes get a little bit of rust on them. And you can build nice little kind of, I've seen it where people have little shelves, little slots for them. And that's such a nice way of doing it, really. So let's see how many of these drills I can get into here. I really do need to go through my, I tend to only use, I just grabbed drills from this. This was given to me quite a few years ago. I've replaced some of them already. Just a Christmas present from in-laws. And it's really handy to just have and be able to grab if you're kind of doing work elsewhere in the house. This was my dad's. Late 70s. He had a Christmas present to himself, I think. I was only young-ish at the time. Like a grey suitcase, and in it was a Black & Decker drill, an attachment to turn it into a circular saw, an attachment to mount it, bench mount it, so you could use it like a grinder, and there was a grinder attachment. I've still got the grinding wheel somewhere, and a quarter sheet sander. And he did huge amounts of work with that. And remember, this lived in that suitcase. He didn't have a workshop. So the Americans would love this. This is kind of, you know, classic sizes in here. Yeah, the imperial sizes. 9/64, 5/32. And one that's kind of random. Actually, they're looking in quite good condition. Not sure I'll ever use them, but I'm not going to throw them away. I've got getting quite a few of these titanium coated drill bits a few years ago. And got a couple of, I think, a cobalt. Lovely and sharp. A lot of the time I just buy the jobber bits. And I've got some of those. Bought those from Lidl. It's the kind of adjustable countersink ones. Ah, I knew I had another one of those. Kind of countersinking wood ones from Lidl, really cheap, many years ago. And they're okay in softwood, but anything other than that, and they're a bit of a waste. Yeah, there is that couple of good tips there. Keeping a few drops of oil in. Yeah, that's a useful one. Particularly on maybe older ones. So this, I should have done it on this one. So what have we got? The Sheffield. Can't see the full size. 7/8, I think. Let's get a bit of. Yeah, 7/8 of an inch for a brace and bit. I still have at least 2 brace and bits. One in my. Yeah, there's one in there. I've got my dad's old one somewhere as well. Possibly another one too. Yeah, so I've got dad's old one. I've got one down in one of the storage sheds. It's still actually quite sharp, but I'm not sure where I would use it. Morning, John. So yeah, bits of oil. Some 1mm drill bits. So I think I've got another container for 1mm. Except that's. Oh no, they're smaller. Yeah, I keep need to dry them out, but I keep silica gel packets as well from things. I always mean to kind of dry them out and pop them into places that are going to benefit from it. But it's amazing how many of these kind of depth stop. This is the point, Anna. Yeah, one day some of this might be useful. But to be honest, if I got rid of those, I probably wouldn't notice. I mean, I do kind of think I do need to get a better countersink. But I wouldn't use those anyway, unless it was on just a rough build, just because they're pretty rubbish. But then I think, oh, maybe I can do something with them. I love the whole idea of making things. And excuse the dog barking in the background. Probably a plane in the sky. Yeah, somebody flying over our airspace. She tries to protect everything up to 30 or 40,000 feet. I probably don't even ever need to buy another drill bit, but I hardly ever use the ones from in here. Even though I've got some drill bits, I really like these kind of brad point ones for wood. I don't know if you can see those. They just make more accurate. Yeah, well, it's always within memory, short-term memory, I think, John. You need things after you've kind of thrown them out. There's probably some name for it. Psychologists have probably studied. If they haven't, they probably should study it. All right. Let's see how many of these I can fit in here. Ow. That's the only problem with the brad point ones. Is they are sharp. Ah, masonry bit. I don't keep masonry bits in here. Masonry bits go into there. What I may have to do with some of these is cut down make them a bit longer. And you get things like this, you wonder kind of how that's happened. It looks like it's been used to stir paint. I suspect that's probably one I've inherited. Every now and again, my brother-in-law gives me bits and bobs. He's not really a hoarder at all. Okay, bye, Gib. See you soon. Thanks for coming in. Okay, bye, Jim. John, give us an example of weird things that you hoard. Right, one empty box. The stack of empty boxes is getting bigger. And I like that. Oh, I hate it when that happens. Trying to peel off the label off the top and it's torn. I've had a couple come off really easily. Not gonna bother. Just want to keep as much forward momentum going today as possible. It's one of the reasons why I've decided to do a live, because having people watching is good encouragement. If I was just doing it on my own, I'd probably go in house and have some more tea or a snack. I need more snacks. Right, so draw bits. Now let's have a look. Now. I'm actually wondering what I might do. Forgot about that. Is now I've freed up this tub. Yeah, but for you doing resin, John, yogurt tubs are really quite useful, and I would have thought, I'm thinking kind of offcuts of resin blanks. Could the resin blanks be reintegrated into new resin blanks, kind of creating kind of an abstract effect? Because it's one of the things that does concern me about kind of resin is the kind of the leftovers. The bits of OSB, okay, it depends on the size of it. I keep bits and bobs, make shelves and things like that. That doesn't sound quite so crazy. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, amongst us, it's not so crazy. Ah, so he's using clear plastic cups, not the yogurt tubs. Maybe you should just recycle the yogurt tubs. Although I've got the idea, I've been collecting milk bottles now for the HDPE kind of sort of plastic milk bottles. I've got a lot now. I've been probably over a year, maybe 2. So no, it's not as much as 2. Well over a year I've been collecting them, and the lids, and they're down in the summer house. Because I'd really like to have a go at doing some work with HDPE. I've got a little oven over in the corner here, which one I can free up some space. Just here. I want to kind of try and chop them down, but I've got to find a way of doing that. Yeah, some abstract resin, John. You could sort of thing that reclaimed audio guys would go for. Just continuous recycle. I mean, I've started keeping. Where have I put it? Oh, I put it somewhere. I've started keeping sawdust and shavings from hardwoods, and so if I ever need to make up some filler to match a particular piece, here it is, 3D printer. So I've got this little tub. So I've got a bag of yew, a bag of oak, and even some brass shavings from when I did my my little brand. So I generated so much that just building up on this, so I just kept it. Yeah, we're probably not. We're kind of the right people to talk to if you want support for your ideas. But maybe less so. Oh, after that, I'll put that up in there. Put that back down. Heavy now, though. Let's have a little look, see what sizes some of these are. I wish there was a sensible way of marking drill bits, because most of the drill bits I've got that have been used, yeah, I'm in the same position, John. Totally in the same position. I find with a lot of drill bits, if they've been left lying around, just somewhere dusty, hard to make out the size. And if you don't want to get your micrometer out to measure them, just a bit of a pain. You can often just see the kind of HSS mark on them. Actually, there's a couple of masonry bits. I'll take those out of there. Right, so these are a mix. Right, they're coming out of there. Masonry bits come out. I just can't be dealing with extra boxes if I don't need them. I do like it when I find really small. It's 1mm. It just breaks so easily. It's good to have. One day's the magic word, isn't it, James? It just really is. I've got a shed full of one day down at the bottom of the garden. James, you still after those? If you really want message me, remind me of your address, and I'll send that to you if you really want it. Yeah, I find that, but do you not keep kind of worthwhile having sort of spares in the shed, John, for when you have visitors? Yeah, when your lad's in and doing some turning, he's going to wear a face mask as well, face shield. So I can understand having multiples. I mean, I've got 2 sets of ear defenders. I've got the set that I use predominantly now, and my hearing is so shot. I should have used good ones like this many years ago. But I've got a set then also for if one of my kids is in here helping me. So he's got his own, right? Okay, right. So yeah, that's keep 2, pass them on. Cool. Well, if you change your mind in the next kind of 24 hours, let me know. It might not still be here. No, I tell her it'll be down in the shed. I won't be getting rid of it. It's just too good a thing. Yeah. Okay, have a good Sunday, Anna. Thank you for popping in. Yeah, definitely see you later. So what I'm going to do now, I've got the masonry bits back in there. See, this is masonry bits, the kind of sort of normal-ish sort of sizes, including SDS. And I also got a spare chuck. So I've got a standard keyless chuck that goes on my hammer drill. So I don't use that very often. It's come in useful a couple of times because the hammer drill is so much more powerful than kind of cordless drills. And then I've got a tube back here, which you might not quite be able to see, where I keep the kind of super long SDS masonry bits. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I put in my Forstner bits and hole saw bits into this one, which is now empty because the drill bits are up there. And this is the game I'm playing at the moment. Yeah, I'll do a Instagram thing from there, I think, at some point. The constant game I'm playing at the moment is, right, I'm going to make a little bit of space here, and then I can shuffle something else into that space, and then I can shuffle something else into that space that this generates. It's like one of those tile puzzles where you have kind of, there's a 3x3 or a 4x4 grid of tiles, but you're 1 tile less, and you have like a pattern, you've got to rearrange it. That's kind of how the entire, right, hole saws now in a box, which means 1 more empty tub. And then I've got my Forstner bits and spade bits, which now can go in here. That's quite a nice one. It's a, I think it's called a magic bit. So it allows you to actually kind of drill in and then also change direction slightly. It's a very good question, John. I have a number of projects in mind. First one is Simon Harmon, side-on UK 100, I think, on Instagram, gifted me a 3D printer at Maker Central, which is sitting just. Oh, let me pick that up right now. So 3D printer there. So I want to get that up and working. It has apparently got an issue with the Z-axis for the extruder. So I know there's plenty of people. Oh, not Magic Bit, Mad Bit, multi-angle. Oop. Don't know what happened there. A multi-angle drill. That's that particular gizmo. All right, another one empty. So 3D printer, I've got to fix it. So apparently there's a problem with the extrusion axis. So that's going to be a nice thing to sort of do. I need to use that to make some adapters for hose for some of the devices, because my hose doesn't fit all those. And then I was also given welder by Jim, Cycles. So in fact, given two, a MIG and a stick welder. So I want to learn how to weld. I'm hoping to get the stick up and running this next few days. And then other projects, I've still got more carving ideas. Oh, I'm getting some lag. Not sure what's happening there. Seems to be lagging out a little bit. So I've got quite a few more ideas for carving. Forstner bits, hole saws. Seems to be getting some lag. Hopefully it's not causing too many problems. Because I've got a stack of oak and yew. I want to build some lights. So I'm probably going to get some different lights rather than this tube. So I'll probably need to get several to fill the space. But I want to make some work-specific lights as well. My book's in the house. I've got a book. I keep a maker book where I keep things in. I've got to start doing some more electronics again. The 3D printer will help with that. I haven't done any electronics properly for a few years. Oh, if you could, John, that would be. I'd love to get as many recommendations as possible. Perhaps you could message me on Facebook, and I'll be easy to find again if I need it rather than here. Other project ideas. So there's still obviously more storage in here. So I'm going to be building. So, for example, the screwdriver rack here, I want to extend massively in order to get more tools. So this tool box over here, which goes down that way, is just temporary, and that was just to get things off the floor. So I'm going. Okay, got a message then. Unstable connection. I'm not sure what's happening there. There's a couple of models that I want to build. My youngest daughter, is into Harry Potter and Doctor Who. There's a few things that I want to build there. In the summer, we're going to try and build a sonic screwdriver, and hopefully something that has some electronics in it. So build some sensors into it, have some lights, using maybe one of the little tiny Arduino type things. There's some. I'm working in my head on some ideas for Carolyn Hinz's space suit challenge. bit of a mouthful for a Sunday morning. So I've kind of got an idea for that. I've got my old face shield, so let's give me some acrylic, and I quite like this sort of dome at the front, but that's only kind of one idea at the moment. So I've got a few ideas going on that. Yeah, don't worry, John, not a problem. So it's the spacesuit challenge. I'm hoping, I haven't taken part in any challenges yet, really. So I'm hoping that that's one that I can get going. I'd like to do, I've got the bug for forging from Maker Central. So I've got some bits, I've got a couple of big club hammers. Yeah, so I don't see any reason why that, maybe in a block of wood, I've got some stumps in the garden, couldn't be used as a kind of a little anvil. So yeah, maybe this year I'll take part in Dirty Smith's zombie challenge if he runs it. Yeah, some of the challenges I only get to find out about once people start putting their videos up, and other ones I kind of think sometimes I just think I'm just not good enough. So I want to get my scroll saw, and I've bought some new scroll saw blades and some of the spiral cut ones that Jamie uses. So I'm hoping to do a little bit more scroll saw kind of art. Might download some of the sort of free ones and have a go at that. Yeah, Fossil Tour is a good place. There's some of the challenges come up in there, and people kind of mention them. If small workshop YouTube makers group is another good one to be in. If you've got a small workshop, it's fairly easy to qualify for that one. Again, challenges come up there, and that group sets challenges too. So I seem to have generated. We have to get that back off there. I seem to have generated a little bit more space up here now, which is quite pleasing. This is kind of sort of crazy thing, I've got a box of 1,000 drywall plasterboard screws, and the remains of ones that I've bought prior to that. And will I ever use them again? Maybe not. Actually, they're quite useful sometimes for putting things together, but I could probably tuck them up. A bit of tape on that. I could tuck it up there. That frees up even more space down here. One of the things I'm trying to do. Okay, John, good to have you in. Yeah, definitely speak soon. Well, one way with that, James, find more space is to get rid of stuff. But you're really into your bikes, aren't you? So that kind of poses an issue of you want to do more bike work, but you haven't got the space for the bikes, or if you get the bikes, you haven't got the space to work on them. But this is the kind of crazy thing I do. I've got a tub here which is just marked as unsalted PZ, so positive drive screws. And I open it up and I've got a Ziploc bag which has got Torx head screws in it. And these are ones I've salvaged from a job, clearly, because they're marked up. And another bag of assorted sizes Torx head screws. So I put them in the bags so they don't get mixed up with the posi drives, rather than in the bottom of the book. And some of the screws are just complete rubbish. I did have a massive tidy up. About 2 years ago, I got my youngest to reorganize things for me, and she went through and sorted all the flatheads into pottage into separate piles. Giant paper clips. I mean, how many paper clips does one person need? I've got to find projects that use up some of these things. But I'd hate to be one of these people that kind of, oh, I'm doing a job. I'll buy 200 screws. I use 50 of them. I've got 150 screws left. I'll then throw away the 150 that are spare. Box, not of screws, but of old rechargeable batteries. Most of them are nickel. Oh, that's nickel metal hydride. But I think quite a few of them are nickel cadmium. They've been in that box for so long, they're not going to be viable. So I think they've got to go. Just taking up too much space. I do seem to have generated a little bit of space up here now. Although I forgot, I've got these tubs back over here. So I've got dome heads, brass, and self-tapping screws. So I've got spare. Can I change that for something else? Okay, good. Kurt, thank you for popping in. And stick up on Instagram. Let's show us what you're doing. If you need hints for reorganizing, take a look at my reorganizing series. You might get some good ideas. Can't promise though. Right, tap set can go back up there. I mean, see how this sort of crazy thing I'll do. Yeah, I'll make these little stands, and for kind of drying things on, and so just literally pins. And what I should do is drive the pins all the way through, so the points are coming out. But more often than not, this does, and I'll keep those. Save me having to make them again, and I do sometimes reuse them. Right. Part of the problem is that I collect ironmongery at a greater rate than I use it. And that's just that's half the problem, really. And it doesn't include the fact I've got, just most of which don't open. I've got these kind of little storage drawers up here, which need a massive sort out. Can't open that one, or that one. Yeah, so these kind of Racco type drawers. So dowels. I think I feel the need to kind of want to get that with something up there. I'm not sure what. I do like standardizing kind of tubs. It makes things look a bit neater. But it's not always easy. A lot of these tubs I've got for free from places, either by eating ice cream or just scrounging around. So the white tubs there, they had magnifying glasses in from a school I worked at many years ago. Hi, Lauren. And they're great for storing, but I've only got 3 of them, and I'm never going to be able to find anything that matches exactly again. The white ones with blue lids up there were being thrown out of a school again when their food technology department closed, and they were going to get skipped. They possibly could have got more, but other people wanted some as well. They're perfect for putting something in, but then don't quite fit anywhere else. Things like these to kind of try and standardize, but trying to find decent ones on a budget is hard. If you've got plenty of money to spend, then finding good ones is quite easy. Cool, James, no problem. Thank you very much for popping in, and have a good bit of project work yourself. I shall probably be stopping for lunch, nearly lunchtime, so I shall be taking a pause. I might put the live back on again later. I might do a couple of bits of drilling and sawing off camera. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, just trying to work out if. Yeah, I think my wife has gone in to make lunch, so lunch will be starting soon. So yeah, I'll put it on again this afternoon at some point, because as I said earlier, it really just encourages me to do stuff, because I find sometimes if I'm just on my own, sometimes it's okay. I'll set a podcast on, and I've got plenty of podcasts to listen to, so that's not too much of a problem in terms of just lose motivation slightly. But having people kind of watching kind of helps with that. Which is a bit odd, I think, but it is what it is. Now there's. Oh, that can go in there. There's some decorative brass handles that I pulled out of a skip house opposite when it was being emptied. And they're really, really nice and fancy. They're not the sort of thing we would use at home, but the sort of thing that might kind of appeal to me along the lines of the work that Tom Peterson Refuse does. And a couple of yes, that's a scary book, especially if you compare it to some of the things that are happening nowadays. Saw a good meme a little while ago. Somebody said 1984 is supposed to be fiction, not an instruction book. Well, I've got a couple of knackered hinges, and they might be something I can practice a bit of welding on. So I've got a bit of electroplating on them by the looks of it, but that will come off with a bit of grinding. So I'm just going to pop those down by there. Go in there too. So that's one more thing empty. Again, from a toolbox that's gone, long gone. But I quite like these little kind of sorters and keeping them handy. But then how many do I need? I've got an entire drawer. I've got a little cupboard. Or a set of drawers. Just about to see it here behind the stool. So this top drawer here is full of trays and pots, old pie tins and cooking, which I use for kind of sorting things. I'm taking something apart. I don't want to lose pieces. If it's just a few pieces, I'll just put them obviously just on the bench. If there's a few more, I might put down some tape, double-sided. Morning. Might put some tape down, turn it over so that it's stuck down and also has sticky up, and stick pieces in place. But sometimes if you've got too much, you can't do that, so I just put lots and lots of trays. Or if I'm sorting out screws, some of the electronics that I've got here, stuff that I've inherited that's just came in kind of cardboard boxes. So put out 10, 20 of those trays, and let's just go, okay, that's a capacitor, right, that goes in there, that's a resistor, that goes into there, oh, that's an LED, that goes into there. And just being able to kind of collate those together and put them into tubs later, having worked out how big a tub you need, does just make things maybe a little bit easier. So again, still a little bit more space still here. Actually got, oh, those are empty, so they can go over there. Oh, my aim is to try and actually empty, not today, I don't think I'm going to do it today. My aim is to get this clear. There's a sink under here, which I haven't used in about 4 years, just because there's been so much stuff on top of it. And I kind of put this board on, a bit of 18mm plywood, so it would act as an additional surface, but it's essentially become just a dumping ground. And dumping grounds obviously are not good. Needed up there, get that sorted. See, this is the kind of crazy things. It's a water filter. Now, for quite a few years, we were using water filters to try and keep the scale down, because we live in a very high scale, lime scale, hard water area. And I've got this, these are essentially just activated charcoal inside. So I've had this on the side for probably about 2 years now, looking at how it could be perhaps made reusable. It shouldn't be that difficult, but it hasn't happened. To be honest, we stopped buying them. They were just getting so expensive. So for a fraction of the price, we just descale the kettle every week with vinegar. It's quite so nice at the end of the week, but for most of the week, actually works all right. But every week it's needed. It's amazing how quickly it builds up. But yeah, buying vinegar in bulk, really useful for derusting as well. I think I'm going to end up some of these. Yeah, I've got a box there which has got kind of 8-inch using, but somebody I know might want them or need them, or there might be some job for them someday, in which case I'll have them. Or probably I'll have one less than I need, and then I'll end up buying another bag, and I'll end up with more now than I have had originally. All right, so I've got all pile one. Oh, let's get heavy. Drop it. So I've got one empty box up there. Yeah, have thought about that. And it is a possibility. We've got to. Our kitchen tap is dripping, and I've tried to open it up, but all I've done is damage the outside of the sleeve on the cold side. And I know it's the cold side because I've turned off the tap on that from the supply underneath. So at some point we're going to replace that tap. But it's, yeah, I've thought about putting a filter in. I think if we had perhaps thought about it even more when we moved in, before we redid the kitchen, I'd have maybe thought about installing one of the big water conditioners for the house, because then that saves having to descale the washing machine and dishwasher every now and again as well. That is a possibility. It is something we thought about. So we've got a relative who lives down in Plymouth in the West Country, and she's got one of those. Not that actually the Plymouth is that high a scale, certainly not compared to here. Just wondering what to do next. I think it might be time for lunch. I kind of want to sort that out. That's not going to fit there. Better in a box. I've got another one of those white boxes, which is up on the shelf, just in the corner here, which has got cable ties in it, which is really useful. It's a shame that it doesn't stack 3 high there, because that would be good. I think some of them are quite long, so they need a quite substantial box to put them in. It's the odd things you get. It's like, I don't fish, but I've got 4 if you include that one, reels of fishing line. There's 2,500 yards on that. Well, some of it's been used. I've used that in kind of science lessons. Looking at kind of stress strain curves, Young's modulus, tensile strength. So I've got a box, the entire tub full of pens. And some of these are decent pens, and some of these are really old pens. So this is, it's missing a refill, but that's a pen I had when I was at university. It's a nice pen. I don't get through pens perhaps anywhere near as fast as I should. Oh crikey, that's even older. This Papermate biro, I think that was given to me when I was a Christmas present when I was about probably 11, 12, sort of secondary school age. Now it still works. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that lot. Quite a nice fountain pen. I do like a fountain pen. It's just a bit of a pain when it comes to having to refill them. But I don't need a whole tin of them, so I might give some to my wife to take to school to give to students who've forgotten their pens. Right. I'm starting to waffle. My tummy's starting to rumble. So I think I'm going to pause here, go and reorganize, have some food, do a bit of soaring. I've got to sort out how to fit this over by the window. So I think I need to do some puzzling on that one. I know kind of how I want to fit it. It's just kind of, I'm going to have to maybe make a little piece to go in to hold it just in place, in just the right place over there. Or I need to find somewhere else to put it. But I'm not sure about that one yet either. So, I see there's a couple of people still watching. Thank you. I will probably resume again if you're interested in probably an hour and a half. I'm going to just run it again, and people want to pop in and out, they can. I don't want to keep anyone from their own projects. As I said, it keeps me kind of motivated too. So if you haven't had breakfast yet, wherever you are, enjoy your breakfast. If you haven't had lunch yet, enjoy your lunch. And if you've had your dinner already, yeah, lucky you. But Sunday, so roast chicken for dinner later. In fact, there's a message from myself saying lunch is on the table. So yeah, I'm thinking actually this would go. So what I'm thinking is on one side have a hole, the other side have a hole with a slot so that it can essentially go in on one side, and on the other side then it just sits over, so that way I can take out, there's the self-tapping screw there, so I could then just pull it out and change them if I needed to. Right, so message from myself, which means my computer in the house tells me that I'm lunch is on the table, so I shall say bye-bye, go and have some lunch, and see you later. Bye now, or for now. There we go, and